Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Training Tip Tuesday with me, Coach Coral. Hope everyone's week is off to a great start. So we had a lot of requests recently with the uptick in the weather temperatures for a few tips on how to beat the heat when training. So living in Florida, many of our athletes are based in warm climates. So this is certainly a timely topic now that we are cracking the 90s, as well as reaching some higher temperatures elsewhere. Once you throw in the heat and the humidity, you're talking some blazing hot temps. So we're going to cover my top 5. There are certainly perhaps more ways to do this, but these are the top 5 tips for beating the heat when training and racing this summer. So first tip is to go during the coolest part of the day as possible. Of course, it cools off overnight. So if you are an early bird, or you can convince yourself to rouse yourself out of bed before the sun comes up, that's certainly going to be to your advantage. Or if it starts to cool off in the evening, longer days, so maybe go once the sunset starts to hit. So try to avoid the sun and go when it's darker outside. So along the same lines, if you can't quite get up that early, next best option is to, if you're running or riding, run shaded routes. So certainly this is cooler. Maybe you can actually go off-road. We've got some really beautiful trails in and around this area. So perhaps pop the mountain bike out of the closet, or dust off your trail shoes and get off-road and go find some shaded areas to run or to ride in. I also wanted to mention, though, tacking back to tip 1, that if we're open water swimming, or especially in pools too, as the day progresses, that water tends to heat up, and sometimes we don't feel ourselves overheating in the pool until it's a little too late. So definitely be cognizant and mindful that your body temp is going to be harder to regulate if you're swimming outdoors later in the day. So definitely employ several of the tips that we're going to talk about here in a minute, even if you're open water swimming in the heat as well. So number 3, hopefully, is a no-brainer. You want to be sure to hydrate. So, and this goes, of course, during your training or during your race. You want to stay hydrated, not just with water, it's not going to quite cut it, but also make sure that you're replacing key electrolytes, and there are many different ways to do that. But also make sure that you're starting out and setting yourself up for success by staying hydrated throughout the day, especially if you're working out in the morning and it's already cracking 80 degrees plus the humidity. You want to make sure that you're hydrated well before you start on your training. So, getting up, getting a couple glasses of water, maybe some bay salt, pink Himalayan salt, or other electrolyte hydration method to make sure you're topping that tank off after being asleep for a while. So number 4, obviously the best way to combat heat is to ice baby. So whether you are putting ice in your drink, or one of my favorite things when running outside, especially in the heat of the afternoon, is to get a buff. And this is a full buff, so that you can actually pop some ice in here, roll it up, and then wear it like a headband, especially when you have the ice on the back and the base of your neck and a little bit up the sides. That really helps cool down your entire system and helps you from overheating. And I've had the ice last me up to 30 minutes. And if you're doing a really long run and your only option is the heat, this is one of the best ways to help you from getting overheated. So buff, the girls or guys' best friend. So, and to round out our top 5 ways to beat the heat while training is might sound a little out of line with common thought, but covering up is actually going to be one of your best bets. So rather than just running in a tank top or a sports bra, or guys shirtless, try and cover up. There's some really fantastic different wicking materials that have been developed in the last few years that provide both a cooling effect. So like Cool Wings, they actually make DeSoto Sportswear makes some cool wings that you can wear over a tank top. But find something that helps pull the heat off your body, and you can actually douse those in water, and it kind of acts like a secondary false AC, if you will. And then also from a secondary perspective, a lot of them are SPF protection. So if you don't like to put sunscreen on, then sweat it out. It's kind of a gnarly feeling. That also helps with sun protection. And I promise you, you want to preserve your skin as much as possible, because the after effects of too much sun are no fun. So hat, long sleeves, sunglasses, a buff to cover your ears, all those sorts of things are going to actually do you better than just running in the natural, if you will. So those are our top 5 tips. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Make sure you're beating the heat when you're training. Be safe, be smart, and have fun. And we'll see you next week. Take care.